Dr. Collins Rollins Nunyoname. I am the Executive Director for the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park.
Can you tell us about the history and significance of the Kwame Nkrumah Museum?
Well, you said Kwame Nkrumah Museum. This is the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. In it we have the museum. We also have the mausoleum. And then we have the park as well as the library. So we have four main things here. You ask about the significance. This is the park dedicated to preserving the legacy of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and to projecting his ideals. You know, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was very passionate about African unity and development. He was passionate about freedom for the African, freedom for Black people. And so this park exists primarily to preserve his legacy in this respect, to protect his works and to project his ideals. We also exist to educate the public about Pan-Africanism, about the work of Kwame Nkrumah, and hopefully to promote the unfinished work of Kwame Nkrumah through educational programs. And then lastly, to also provide a very serene environment for reflection, personal reflection and reflection on any other thing, and also for recreation to some extent, which is the essence of the park. I always try to emphasize that it is no longer just the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. It used to be so, but since the renovation, it has actually become a Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. And the park aspect is always going to be important because parks always have inherently a role in recreation. This is a nice combination. So yes, we have some amount of recreation and the park has to deal with recreation, but it's also a park to memorialize the work and ideals of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
That's great. I'm just wondering now, what challenges does the museum face in maintaining and expanding its collection?
Well, our challenges are many. And for many people who will look at the beautiful pictures on Facebook and in the internet and think we have nothing to worry about, we have a lot to worry about. This is a huge place. We have huge maintenance costs, from the fountain to the light, to the grounds, which is the landscaping, to pretty much everything. I mean, to water, we have a lot of challenges. We have very high maintenance costs, and sometimes, you know, we are also within the natural milieu of the wider environment, wider policy environment and the development environment. And so whatever the challenges are with regards to electricity, with regards to water, we are victims in that respect. I mean, just this morning, if you were here earlier, we have had problems with the electricity. I mean, as we talk now, I mean, it has impacted some of our equipment. And so, for example, we don't have the pump functioning now because of the surge in power that has been knocked out. We are working on it. For those who may not be aware of this reality, if they go to the washroom and we don't have water, automatically it is bad news. But this is not, in a way, something that will be caused by us, but from the wider environment of where we live as a country, where we exist as a country. The maintenance costs are overwhelming, I can tell you that one. I think the biggest challenge here would be the maintenance. How do we keep the things? Unfortunately, even though this place has been renovated very recently, a lot of the things that you would think would take some time to renovate, to repair, unfortunately, are requiring urgent repairs every time. If you go to, in fact, this very block had been had been the ceiling, the entire ceiling at the reception have had to be redone. If you go to the outside, the transparent roofing sheets are calling urgently for replacement. If you go to the control room there, anytime it rains, we have issues there. And so there are huge maintenance issues. If you go to the fountain, which is the heart, for me, I told my team that this is my baby. But even now, then we have issues with the fountain. We're struggling to find water to keep the fountain functioning at its proper level. And you will think that after the renovation we should have no problem with the fountain, for example. But we realize that rather than tiling the fountain, which would be the normal modern standard of keeping fountains and maybe pools generally, I mean, we still are dealing with just the way it was originally. And just yesterday from our assessment, we realized that one side of the fountain is leaking water. Exactly where we don't know yet. But even when we struggle with water and fill it to some extent, in a few days, you see that we are losing it in fact, we've had to suspend the operation of the fountain in that one because we don't have enough water. We can't even clean it now because to clean it means that we have to drain the little water that is there. And so at some point we'll have to make a decision whether to just drain it completely and see how we can fix the system. But I'm talking generally in this term that we have huge maintenance needs and maintenance costs that we must bear from time to time.
Okay. How about expanding your collections? What challenges do you have in that regard?
Well, Kwame Nkrumah, if you know his history in this country, and some factions of the politics, unfortunately, are still contesting his legacy. But I believe that as a nation, we are getting to some consensus around him. The history is that Kwame Nkrumah, the intention was to remove him from our history. The original intention was actually to get rid of him, to demonize him and make him look ordinary. And to some extent, yes, even currently, even in the recent past, there had been such attempts to make him just like anybody else, any politician of his age. Now, what this means is that, when he was overthrown, a lot of his collections were deliberately targeted. They were removing them, burn them. If you have them, they will seize them and burn them. So it is difficult, unlike all the former presidents, it's very difficult to have access to his collections in one place. And so we are in an enduring game of having to look for some of his collections. And very soon we are going to launch a campaign called Archival Retrieval, where we will be asking and opening the window for people who have some of his collections still with them. Anything that they have of Kwame Nkrumah, they can bring them in. By this, I am already appealing to anybody who may have any photos, anything that Kwame Nkrumah may have done, unique to him, unique to his concept of Pan-Africanism, unique to him. We will be very grateful for the opportunity to have them. But do we have challenges? Yes, because it is difficult. People have them individually, but you don't know who has them. And so as and when we hear of one, we follow up and get. As we hear of another person, we follow up and get. So it's very difficult to get them all in one whole.
Okay, so with a call for and asking people to bring in artifacts and collections, how do you ensure the authenticity of these things and preserve them once you have them?
Well, fortunately, we have people with the technical expertise in keeping these things. We work also with the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, who have the capacity. In fact, I would say they have the capacity in excess to preserve these things. We've worked with them to preserve some of the photos and some of the artifacts that we have. In fact, everything that we have been given as a facility from individuals we have kept. And so there should be that assurance that whatever it is that we receive from anybody, we will keep them and make sure that the next generation is made aware of them. This whole idea of preserving his legacy is just for the sake of the next generation. What would the next generation think of Kwame Nkrumah? What should they be thinking? Kwame Nkrumah's ideas have never gone stale. They've never really, they are as relevant as today.
How has visitor attendance evolved over the years?
Well, thank you. Generally, it has been good. It has been good over the past few years. We have always been, if not the first, among the first group of sites with the most numbers of visitors. Last year, for example, we recorded the highest number of visitors. And when I mention this, I am always quick to add that when we talk about visitors in this regard, we're not talking about foreign visitors alone. In fact, by far the biggest number of our visitors are domestic visitors. And by far the biggest number of those domestic visitors are children also, which to us is great because you want to reach as many children as possible with the story of Kwame Nkrumah, with his legacy, with his ideals. Hopefully that they will learn to behave and they will learn to be like Kwame Nkrumah with a passion for national development. Last year, in terms of the numbers specifically, we had over 300,000 visitors. But our aim is to make sure that we get to 1 million visitors next year. This is not going to come easy. But I think my team understands the importance of this drive. And we are doing everything we can to set the base for a good takeoff towards that goal. So yes, the numbers have been good, but they would be better going forward.
Okay, so talking about the numbers, how do you ensure the museum remains accessible and inclusive?
Well, the museum generally remains accessible to everybody. We have made sure that the entrance fee is not beyond the reach of the majority of people. We have for our children anywhere between 4 and 9 years old will pay 5 cedis. From 10-year-old, which we'll assume will be in JHS and above to SSS will pay about 10 cedis. Those in the universities will pay, and other tertiary institutions will pay 15 cedis. And then general public, adult Ghanaians, will pay 15 cedis. So generally, it remains affordable. Over the few weeks that I've been here, I've had people contest even that to some extent. I've had at least 3 people who were very fiercely against any notion of paying anything at all. But as I would indicate, or I already indicated, we have very huge maintenance costs here. And so if we charge nothing at all, then I don't think this place will last very long before we would hate to visit it.
All right. Yeah. So for the visitors who are looking forward to having them over here, what message do you hope they take away with them from the experience at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park?
Well, that they will understand Kwame Nkrumah's vision for Ghana and for Africa. And for the current youth, this is very important. You know, we are at an age where there seems to be very little connection with politics, with issues of national development. Everybody is growing a little more individualistic, a little more concerned about pleasure and fun. And to some extent, I have cause to worry that if we are not deliberate, we're going to lose our next generation. in terms of their commitment to nation building, in terms of their commitment to national affairs generally. And so I think that the most important message that I will hope that our people, any visitor for that matter, will take away from here is to be reminded about the vision of Kwame Nkrumah, to be reminded about what he stood for and his unfinished agenda, and to be inspired to continue to strive for the things Kwame Nkrumah strived for. Can we get fully emancipated? Can we get out of this neo-colonial state? Can we overcome it? Kwame Nkrumah was full of hope that we could, but he was also very full of ideas in terms of how we could do that. Would we learn those ideas? Will we be reminded of those ideas? Will we imbibe those ideas and make them our own? I think that would be the most important thing that I would wish that anybody who visits here will take away.
All right. So you shared one feedback you had from somebody who visited here with us not long ago. Is there some more feedback you can share with us you've received with regards to the museum's renovations and the new features you've added to the place?
Well, in terms of the renovation, I would say the biggest addition to the park is this administration block. Every other thing here was here. And this administration block and the museum itself and the audiovisual tunnel that was built around it. So the two main things that were done here are these two, in addition to the electrical works, and maybe the biggest one will be the fountain that was added. Everything else here had already existed in some fashion. The walls used to be brick walls replaced with a mesh. The lighting was added, definitely. The musical fountain was added, but you know the story of the musical fountain. It operated for less than a year and has been out. Since I came back, we have managed to get it to some extent. It's not fully back yet, but we managed to make sure that at least people who visit the park will have some experience with it, that it is functioning to some extent. But we are working on it now. For now, we understand that we needed a software upgrade. I mean, it's very difficult to understand why a software upgrade would stop the functioning of the fountain. I mean, you would think that an upgrade is to make it better, not stop how it had been operating. But in this case, the request or the requirement of an upgrade means that it is shut down. It has been shut down for more than a year now. But we are working with the contractor to make sure that it comes back.
Okay, so with these new additions you pointed out, what has been the feedback from people who visit here since you had those additions?
Okay, I think generally the reception is a major addition. And generally the feedback has been positive. If you go on the internet, the feedback has generally been positive, but there are a few problems here and there. And so if you go on the internet and Facebook or other social media handles, you would see that a few complaints still do exist. But generally, all in all, I think the feedback has been very positive. And we hope to keep it that way, and we hope generally to improve the experience people have in this park. We have a couple of innovations. I don't know if your questions will get there, but maybe I will wait until if you don't ask them, then I can bring them up.
Okay, so in getting to the 1 million visitors targets, what plans do you have to attract more local and international visitors to get to this 1 million target?
Thank you. That's a very important question. We have a few things. Number one is that we want to improve the experience people have visiting this park. What does it mean? First of all, we have to keep the basic staff functioning. Yeah, as a first point of any maneuver to get into the 1 million. Let the fountain be operational. Let the lawns look green. Introduce some new picnic areas, introduce some seating arrangements that are comfortable, that would make people want to just visit here and reflect on their lives. Make this place a place of relaxation and reflection. People can come over and over. You don't come just because you want to listen to the story of Kwame Nkrumah. You come because you want to have some ambient and serene environment to reflect on your life, to think, to share a connection with your loved one, to help your family bond together. That's what we are hoping to do. So we would, at the very base minimum, hope that every facility we have here is functioning to the top level at its best. And the second, we are also trying to introduce what we call the Kwame Nkrumah History Clubs. The Kwame Nkrumah History Clubs will be based in the basic schools and the secondary schools. Now, what does it seek to do? It seeks to introduce Kwame Nkrumah and his ideals and his works and his legacy to these people at a very young age. And the hope is that as they learn more about Kwame Nkrumah, they would want to see where Kwame Nkrumah has been buried. They would want to see where Kwame Nkrumah is. And hopefully they have a different level of connection. They have a different emotional and spiritual connection with the Kwame Nkrumah brand and with his ideals. That hopefully should inspire as a revolution in terms of the next generation's ability to promote the national development cause. And so, yes, the history clubs will come in. We are also very aggressively working on our social media presence and our publicity, extremely aggressive. Those of you who have been paying attention, you will see that we are consistently all over the place. We are in the news fairly consistently these days. We want to do more. We are partnering with a lot of people. We are partnering with a lot of institutions to make sure that the brand is known and that people will see this place as the must go-to place. And not just once, that it is a place that they can come back to over and over and over again, not because of Kwame Nkrumah's story alone, but because of the other things that will be in the park. So that too, we are trying to do. We will do very aggressive outreach. We are working with our tour companies. We are working with some brand ambassadors and influencers. One of our influencers is Gorgeous. It's also Adomaa. We are very pleased to work with them, and I thank them for the cooperation and support they have provided so far. In fact, Gorgeous is, as we speak, is filming on the park now. So we've been doing some things in that respect. We are also reaching out to the embassies. We are very aggressive. We are aggressive with our promotional materials, brochures, and handbills, and all the things. We've got our website back, and we are actually currently updating it aggressively. We are redesigning it, in fact. We should be, I believe, by the end of this month, launching a very well updated website. I like to point out one thing that people will find on that website now. They will be able to do a virtual tour of this facility on that website. There will be one segment of the website or a tab on the website where they will say, hey, take me to the website, take me to the park. And by a click of a button, they are able to inspect every nook and cranny on this website, on this park, except maybe the museum, which we normally try to keep off from the public to some extent. So yes, just to recap, we are trying to maintain the facilities at their levels that they need to be at, so people can have good experiences. We are trying to add a few facilities. A photo booth is coming very soon. We are going to be introducing our restaurant. It will start operation by September. So those of you who have been waiting to come and eat here, come and visit and eat. You will have the opportunity to have good meals from the restaurant. We are going to also launch the Kwame Nkrumah History Clubs. Very important for us to mobilize in millions or at least thousands of students to come and visit the park. We are reaching out to the embassies. We are reaching out to tour companies. We are up with our promotional materials, and we are using our social influencers very aggressively and are doing everything we can to make sure that our social media presence is top notch.
All right, so just a little bit of the park and a little bit more focus on you now. If you don't mind, what motivated you to take on the role of director at this memorial park?
Well, that's an interesting question, and on this question, I would like to thank the visionary president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for the opportunity he has provided me. This is an excellent, excellent opportunity. When my nomination came, my appointment came out, I understand. I didn't get to read them, but I have been prompted by several people that there were a lot of backlash against my nomination in terms of why would they appoint a person with a PhD? Why? This is degrading of me. I mean, the idea is that this place is not a good place for a PhD holder. I mean, what is a PhD holder coming to do here? I think that was the banter on social media. And I have at least seen one in one group that I belong to, and I had to quietly tell them, hey, there are opportunities everywhere. And so I am very grateful. Having come here, you asked the question, what motivated me? I want to serve. I want to serve. And there are a few colleagues who have come here, and I told them, wherever the government would put me, even if it is to clean the toilet, I would do that to the best extent I can. I will do that to the best ability I have to deliver. So I am motivated by my desire to contribute to the research agenda, to make changes here, and to make this place a little more attractive. I tell people, friends and colleagues that have visited me from government and from the party that, hey, I believe at the end of my tenure, this place will look so hot that there will be people clamoring to come here, to be appointed here. But it is not going to be very easy. I don't underestimate the amount of work that I have to do. As you correctly noted by somebody who had already informed you about the difficulties we had here, even tables were an issue. We did not have tables. When I came here, I worked in a plastic chair. I mean, I think they have removed it from the room now. There was a plastic chair and an old table that was here that I was working from. Then eventually we got this table. And since I have come here, I said, no, we have to get furniture. We have to get furniture. So those who may look at the very beautiful facility here, it's a very empty facility also. I mean, we are now trying to buy computers. Yeah. If you look on my desk, I have a computer. That's my private computer. That's my personal computer. Yeah. I said I will be working with this for the meantime until my team, I'm able to buy for all of my teams, and then I can buy for myself. I'm just trying to say that trying to get to our goal is not going to be very easy. But we are determined, and luckily, I have a team which is coming around very aggressively. I mean, I am very excited about them now. The support I enjoy from my team is amazing. I like to use this opportunity to thank them. And I like to use the opportunity to also thank Honorable Abelaji Fagomashi for the support she has provided. She's been amazing in terms of the support for the park. And I want to be sure that she's duly acknowledged.
It's interesting to find out that you are still motivated despite all these challenges. Now, if you don't mind, what do you find most rewarding considering the role you are serving in?
Well, the most rewarding thing, this is an interesting question. The most rewarding, I have very ambitious plans for the place. And those who know me, those who are very close to me, know that I don't sleep. I haven't been sleeping. My wife will tell you, every time I get up, say, what is it again? But to know that I am making a difference, I mean, to know that people come here and they look at this and say, oh, okay, this is nice. Oh, I'm happy. You people are doing well. That is very rewarding for me. And so every time I'm looking for, hey, what else can we do? What else can we do? I mean, and if you have been here, I mean, even in this small interaction, you've seen my connection with the staff. I don't take any small matter as too small to be attended to. Every matter is important to me because the experiences of people are important. And usually it is not the big things, it is the small things that make all the difference. And so to hear people say, oh, you are doing very well, this is beautiful, this is nice, oh, I like how you do this, that is probably the most rewarding thing. And I mean, I can ask for more. I feel very satisfied, and I'm always looking for the opportunity to make sure that people have positive impressions about the place. That this iconic place built in memory of Kwame Nkrumah will deliver its mandate of preserving and projecting the ideals of Kwame Nkrumah.
Is there anything else you would like to share about the Kwame Nkrumah Museum, the Memorial Park, or your work, which you think is important for us to know? It could be about the park, it could be about your work.
Well, as I said, we have many challenges. It's a huge facility. Just trying to regrass a section of the grass, a section of the park, just a few sections of the park. The invoice we got is in excess of 200,000 cedis. Just a couple of places. And so we are by this also trying to appeal to every person, every organization that may be remotely interested in the ideals of Kwame Nkrumah to come and contribute their bit to protecting and preserving this place. It is our collective responsibility to make sure that the ideals of Kwame Nkrumah are projected and are preserved. And so I am calling on every kind-hearted person and organization to come and help us. We are doing our best, but as I said, the resources are limited. We get a number of people visiting, we get some resources, but the maintenance requirements are also very high. And so sometimes we will need some help. We are also trying to introduce a couple of other things. One of them, very important, is to activate the library, the Presidential Library. I would like to use this opportunity to make a direct plea to every single individual organization that will have something of importance in connection with Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Any artifact, any letter, personal, corporate, that has been written by Dr. Nkrumah to you as a person or to you as an organization, any artifact, any collection at all that you may have with you, we will beg of you to contact us, and so we can facilitate your donation of these items so we can set up the library. It is important. The library, as I said, it would have been very easy to set up, but because of the deliberate campaign to destroy every property of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, it is difficult. There are still unique photos there that we know we have not yet received. We are hoping that if you have them, we can make copies. We don't care. We can make copies and return the original to you, but we will be very glad to have the original so we can preserve Kwame Nkrumah's history. You know, libraries are important, but the most important thing about the library is the collections. And so anything that people have, we will beg of them to help us to get them. They can contact us by our numbers on our website. So we would like to appeal to anybody who has something to offer. We know the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day is coming up in September. We are trying to dedicate a lot of things. We're trying to preserve, in other words, we're trying to do a lot of things in September to commemorate his birthday. In due time, we would communicate this to the public. But we have very interesting proposal. We have very interesting things that we want to do within that window. We'll be doing a stage play in partnership with the African Arts Network. And I think it's a stage play about the life of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. I think people will find that very interesting. I will call on them to come. It will be held here. It will be here on the 21st, in the evening, afternoon of 21st September. There will be a stage play here. We will have, in partnership with a trade fair company, Ghana Trade Fair Company, also be doing some exhibition. It will be called the Osagefo Made in Ghana Fair. Exhibit a number of made in Ghana products. For Kwame Nkrumah, Kwame Nkrumah had always been about industrialization, and we will also be partnering with TV3 to organize the Africa Connect. Thank you very much for the opportunity also that you have granted me. I think this will be part of our efforts to stay in the news and be relevant and stay public. So thank you very much for the opportunity.